Hello and welcome to this free mandolin lesson aimed at advanced players, and we're going to be taking a deep dive into using pentatonic scales and how they can help us improvising. We're going to look at some simple charts and how they help out with that, but we're also going to look at how pentatonics help with difficult chord charts, and we're going to use Georgia on My Mind as an example. We'll have something that sounds a little bit like this. Everything we talk about in the next 10 minutes is included in a free PDF linked below, so you can have all the scales and charts in front of you without having to work it out by ear. So we're not going to do any theory in this lesson. That is in a different lesson, which again I have linked below on where pentatonic scales come from. We're just going to use them in this lesson. For all of my musical life, I have been improvising using scales and arpeggios. I've never used pentatonic scales. They don't sort of naturally come on the mandolin as well as naturally as they come on the guitar. It's a very nice shape on guitar. I've been watching quite a lot of YouTube videos on how they use them, and it looks like it's a very natural fit. Not so much on the mandolin, but we can still use them. And I want to do a few exercises, the kind of exercises I've actually been doing in the last week or so to get my head around pentatonics. So we're going to start with a relatively simple exercise, just using the G pentatonic scale. So there's no F sharps and no Cs. And if we just take a 12 bar, it's technically a 12 bar blues, but we're going to take a little bit of the blues off. We'll take the edge off and just call it a 12 bar song. 4 bars of G, 2 bars of C, 2 bars of, and so on. The great thing about improvising with pentatonic is you almost don't need to take account of the chords, because what we've done is we've taken away the harmony that causes tension. The fourth and the seventh are not there. Now obviously it's sometimes nice to have tension, but just for this exercise, for this lesson, just stick to the pentatonic scale. So we're going to play this round twice. We'll have 2 goes at the chord chart, so it's 24 bars essentially. You're just improvising. You're only allowed to use the 2-octave G pentatonic. I'll have me play mandolin and I'll overdub a guitar. Here we go, after 4. Any note, any order. Don't worry about the chords, after 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you're doing that exercise thinking, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, I should probably give you an example of the kind of thing I'm after. So if I just play exactly the same, I'll just do 12 bars of what it can sound like, just improvising over the G pentatonic. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not perfect, it's not particularly melodical, but it's something. It's safe. I don't have to necessarily take too much note of the chords. I really had to fight going to a C note, because that's not technically in a G pentatonic, so don't worry if you also had to fight that urge, but tried to stick to the rules. So if you're not sure, hit repeat, have a go again. But for those who got that, let's try a different scale. This time, let's do exactly the same chord chart, but we'll use the minor pentatonic. A lot of blues music uses minor pentatonic, even though we're in a major key. So different notes this time. So this time there's no A and no E. So let's do exactly the same 24 bars. Or actually, let me give you the example first. So this is what it could something sound like. 2, 3, 4. Again, not my best solo, but it's something. It's a formula to work from. Makes it, you can hear it's a lot moodier, a lot darker, a lot more edge to it than the major pentatonic. Makes it sound very different. Even with just playing major chords, the minor pentatonic instantly makes it sound bluesy. So now it's your turn. Twice through the chord chart. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then one final scale to try. This isn't technically a pentatonic, but the full blues scale is exactly the same notes, just with the added sharp 4. So you can now add a C sharp in there. It creates real... So same thing again, same 24 bars, but this time try and add that sharp 4 in. You can hear how that sounds. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I want you to take away from that exercise is how the pentatonic scale can be really useful if you sort of really want to, are not sure about improvising, so I don't know what notes to use. Pentatonics are a really safe way of improvising over a chord chart. Nothing's going to clash, everything will sound nice. So if you really just want a very safe option, the major pentatonic is a really safe way of improvising over anything. So if you're in the key of F, which you're coming to, key of E flat. You know, it's a really easy way of improvising in any key over any chord chart. If you want to add a bit of edge to it, or want a slightly more bluesy sound, then go for the minor pentatonic and add the sharp 4 in if you can, and that gives you a slightly bluesier sound, because that's certainly what the blues people are playing when they're improvising. Hopefully shows you what pentatonics can be really useful for. I have one final exercise for this lesson. One of the great things I have learnt in the last few weeks that pentatonics can be used for is over very difficult chord progressions, because what they can do is provide you quite a restricted set of notes to use whilst the chords are going all over the place. So we're going to use Georgia on My Mind. I've given you the melody, but I'd rather you didn't play the melody. I'd rather you tried, and I will play the chord chart. Again, mandolin and guitar. It'd be great if you could try improvising with the F pentatonic. So you got F, G, A, C, D, and F. Yes, in the melody, there's, the melody is not pentatonic, but our improvising can be, because if you look at the chords, it goes F to A7 to D minor 7, B flat, B flat minor, F, D7, G minor 7, C7, F. Chords are going on. So if you're improvising in terms of arpeggios, there's a lot to think about there. And at some point, you've got to play a nice melody while you're improvising as well. So just play an F pentatonic, not even taking note of the chords, it will still sound really nice. And that's what I want you to have a go at now. You heard me at the start, so if you want an example, just go right back to the very start and listen to me having a go at it. But this time, it's your turn. So have a go. F pentatonic. You could just cycle up and down that if you're not sure. It's a really interesting exercise. Give it a go after 4. This is a little slower than the have been. It's 72 BPM, so about there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep going. Big finish. Finish on an F. Just keep hitting rewind if you didn't get it. Just remember, you just stick in those parameters. Hopefully you have learned something today. I've certainly learned something, even just making these videos. It's been really interesting. And I will definitely be using pentatonic scales going forward in my improvising. Maybe not just pentatonic, but I'll be certainly, when I hit really hard chord charts, I'll be using that idea of just relying on pentatonics. And I'll be thinking more in terms of minor pentatonics and blues notes if I'm playing blues, because at the moment I didn't know the theory behind that. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. We do these every month. Please hit like and subscribe while you're here, or head over to mandomike.com for all the other free lessons we've done, and we'll see you next month.